Today we're going to be reviewing the brand new SpongeBob Season 16 episode, SpongeBob and Patrick's Timeline Twist-Up. Without any further delay, let's dive in right now. So this is a 43-minute SpongeBob special that just aired on TV. In it, when SpongeBob and Patrick find out that Patrick's old time closet at his parents' house went crazy and sucked his family into the past, resulting in Patrick's family taking SpongeBob's place in iconic moments from classic SpongeBob episodes, SpongeBob and Patrick have to travel back in time to get them out of the past and get everything back to how it was. The first thing I'll say about it is it doesn't actually feel like a 43-minute special. I watched it twice for this video, and both times it flew by and felt more like a 20-minute special. It never drags on, which is a very good thing, and it's the complete opposite of some other SpongeBob specials we've gotten in the past. Truth or square. Speaking of the past, one of the most common complaints people have of modern SpongeBob is how it often feels like the show is leaning too heavily on referencing older episodes for the sake of nostalgic pandering. But I didn't feel like that was an issue with this episode, because if there's ever a time to lean in on the past, it's literally a special about time travel. And instead of just being a bottle episode or a clip show, this episode kind of feels like a SpongeBob version of Marvel's What If. Like, what if it was Patrick's dad who whipped his pants? What if it was Patrick's grandpa who got a job at the Krusty Krab and Help Wanted? What I'm about to say might make the two fans of that show mad, but the main difference is that unlike Marvel's What If, this episode actually does something very creative and entertaining with its ideas. My favorite of the time travel segments being the one with Patrick's grandpa, which ended up going completely wild with his grandpa stealing the Krabby Patty secret formula and taking over Bikini Bottom like a full-on supervillain. And I also loved how it ended with modern SpongeBob going back in time to give classic SpongeBob the hydrodynamic spatula that he used in order to get his job at the Krusty Krab. And there was a moment of him just encouraging his past self, which is a very SpongeBob thing to do. And it was also kind of cute how they showed modern SpongeBob to actually stick around for a second in the background, watching classic SpongeBob making a ton of Krabby Patties like modern SpongeBob was a proud father to his younger self. I also love how they try to recapture at least a tiny bit of the visual style of classic SpongeBob in the time travel scenes by bringing back the old character models and also having everything be less saturated than what we have come to expect of modern SpongeBob. I do have a bit of a complaint though. Despite all of the positive stuff I just said, there's an undeniable element in this episode that, in my opinion, makes it feel like SLOP. And that's the quality of the writing, or lack thereof. The writing in this episode isn't insultingly bad or anything like that. SpongeBob and Patrick aren't acting out of character like in some of the worst episodes. And if you turn your brain off and enjoy it for what it is, you will have a good time. But what it is, while being a special with a lot of creative ideas, is also a special that has very sloppy writing in multiple ways. For one, a lot of the dialogue feels very off. And heck, as someone who's been doing a lot of creative writing in my free time since I was a kid, I know a lot of these lines are at the same level of quality as some of the stuff I was coming up with when I was in 5th grade. The biggest example from this episode that I can think of is the scene where Squidina is walking around in Rock Bottom and she says, "This place is so creepy and so cinematic." And it's like, what does that even mean? Not only is it confusing to use cinematic as an adjective in the way that they did here, but it doesn't even sound like something someone would say. It sounds awkward. Like, imagine walking into, I don't know, a Taco Bell, taking a deep breath, and a good look around you, and being like, "Man, this place is so cinematic." A better way of having a character say something like this would be, "This place looks straight out of a movie." Because when I think of the word cinematic, I think of something happening, like an action scene, not just a dark, spooky city existing. That's more atmospheric. Also, I kind of feel like the title, SpongeBob and Patrick's Timeline Twist-Up, is a bit of a lie. Most of the episodes doesn't even actually follow SpongeBob and Patrick, Instead, it follows Patrick's family members, as instead of getting actually involved with all of the time travel stuff in an interesting way, SpongeBob and Patrick, for no reason at all, just decide to sit around watching what's going on in each scene on the television, like us, the viewers, until they eventually need to show up to save each family member at the last minute. And then they go back to watching TV. And it comes across as an honestly pretty lazy way to clumsily tie the scenes together. It kind of feels like this special was originally intended to be like that vacation miniseries in SpongeBob Season 8 of episodes that have a similar theme, because as one story, it has very odd pacing. But I would still give this episode a good, because it is a very fun special that celebrates classic SpongeBob. And with a comedy show like SpongeBob, one of the most important things is that it is fun and entertaining to watch. So it may be slop, but it's fun slop, so that makes it technically good. And also, when I was watching it, I felt like I was watching an anniversary special. Like, this feels kind of like the logical spiritual successor to Big Birthday Blowout, the 20th anniversary special. So I don't know what they're gonna do for the 30th anniversary. I guess we will see. Also, I just want to briefly mention something I saw many people talking about on Twitter, and so that is Tom Kenny's voice. Many people said that throughout the episode, Tom Kenny sounded tired and like he should just give up voicing the character. And I wouldn't go that far. As long as voicing the character is what he actually wants to do, I say he should continue doing it for as long as he can. But I do completely agree that he does not sound like he did even 5 years ago in season 12, which was around the time I stopped actively keeping up with SpongeBob. I'm saying this as a big fan of Tom Kenny. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but throughout the episode, it sounded like Tom Kenny wasn't able to emote as expressively with his voice as you would usually expect him to when voicing SpongeBob. And there were some moments where he even sounded like he was kind of struggling to do the voice. Now, some people think this might be a voice directing thing, where maybe he and the other voice actors weren't being directed well enough, which can have an effect on voice performances, but I don't think that's the case. Plenty of the other voices, in my opinion, sounded like how they usually do, especially the voices of Patrick and his family members. I think it's because Tom Kenny has been voicing SpongeBob for over 25 years, and the dude is 62 years old. I think he's just aging, and it is kinda sad it's becoming so noticeable, but it is what it is. But anyways, what do you guys think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Cartoon Post out.